Okay, let's continue from that point. That means like we have already discussed how strings are there and how the indexing happened, the positive indexing, negative indexing about strings. Then, so we just apply the same theory that we have applied for the string into lists. Lists are actually, so string is basically a set of characters, but lists you can mention, lists can be heterogeneous, lists may have different type of data items within it. So list can contain either numbers or, so here you can see these are the lists. So it can contain numbers only, or it can contain numbers and letters, numbers, characters. So there are multiple items can be, like here you can see this is a list with numbers and this is a list with names. This is a mixed list. So likewise, it is possible to have lists with different items, right? And so list can be accessed in, so let's use the ideally, list items can be accessed in two ways. The method or the first way is we can access the list using its items directly, and adding new item to the list can be done with appending, and removing can be done with the remove method. So let me quickly define this, and if you want to define empty list, you can define that as this. Okay, let's say list one is empty list. So you can define with empty square brackets, that is method number one. Method number two is you can declare that list two or another list, you can say list and the brackets. So that is also creating empty list. When you create empty list, when you print it, let's say list one or list two, when you're printing, you can see it's only empty brackets. Nothing is there. But you can keep adding items. Let's say for k in range, adding k in range 10. So then I'm telling list one dot append k. So what will happen when after I run this loop? So what will be there in the list? Yes, after I run this loop, so for k in range 10, list one dot append k. I'm appending k item into the list. So what will be there in the list? Yes?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, so when k range 10, then so can you remember the loops? So for k in range 10, what will be printed if I print k? For k in range 10, what will be printed if I print k?
10.
Yeah, up to 10, right? Up to 10, but not excluding 10, 0 to 9, right? I hope you can remember the loops that we have learned way back, like a month ago, we learned about these loops, right? It's printing from 0 to 9, right?
Yes.
Then, so k will be 0 to 9. Then the k's value, initial k is 0, the last k will be 9. So this will add. So if I print the list one now, so you can see the items will be from numbers from 0 to 9. Right, numbers from 0 to 9 will be added to the list. Okay, I'm doing the similar kind of thing for this. I'm telling okay, 1 11 2, sorry, not 1 11 2, 2 11 2, 2 11 2. I'm adding k into k. So what into the list 2? So what will be there in the list 2? So after this operation, starting from 2, going up to 11, going 2 by 2, right? Going 2 by 2, then adding k into k. Sorry, I'm multiplying k by k, then actually appending that to the list. So what will be there? Yes. So what is the first k? First k?
First K is 2.
2. Then 2 into 2 is
4.
4. The next K is?
Would it be 4 into 2?
Yeah, it's 4. It's 4 into 4 will be 16. The next K will be?
16
6.
into...
Then 6 into 6 will be 36. So likewise, the final K will be 10. 10 into 10 will be 100. So when I print this list too, you can see it's appended 4, 16, 36, 64, and 100. So these are the, so likewise dynamically also we can append it to the list. These are actually numbers. I just use the loops and I just use the loop concept as well as the appending concept in the list. Right? So you know,
Okay.
sorry. Is it clear to you?
Yes.
Okay. Now tell me, if I print like this, what will be printed? So this is just in last week knowledge. I'm printing from empty to 4. List 1 here to 4. So what will be printed? So I'm not printing the entire list. Instead of printing the entire list, I'm printing empty start to 4th index. So what will be printed?
Will it be 4 to 64?
I'm printing the existing list. List 1.
0 to 3.
0 to 3. Yes, 0 to 3. Correct. Because the 4th index is here. 0, 1, 2, 3. 4th index is here, but that will not be printed. So it will be printing from empty to 3rd index, right? Okay, if I print like this, so what will be printed? Empty, empty 3. Empty, empty 3. Empty start, empty end. Step in 3 by 3.
It will be, it starts at 2.
It will start from the 0.
Okay.
Because you have given the initial start, but it will step in by 3 by 3. 3 means like 0 will be taken, then 1, 2 will not be taken, this will be taken.
Yeah.
So then this 2 will not be taken, this will be taken. And this 2 will not be taken, this will be taken. So it will print 0, 3, 6, and 9. Understood? The step in?
Yes.
Okay, then I'm giving like this. I'm asking to start from index number 6, index number 8, and then given -2 here. So what will be printed?
8.
Yeah, starting from the 8th index. Where are the 8th index? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then it will start from here. Ending, I have not mentioned the ending. Then it will go to the last item. So actually, in this case, the first item, because I'm asking to go 2 by 2. So then this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one, right? 8,
yes.
6, 4, 2, and 0. 8 to 0. Okay, understood how negative positive indexing working and how ranges are taken?
Yes.
Right. So have we calculated the minimum, maximum, and total of a given list?
No.
No. Okay. So let's do that exercise and begin today's lesson. Okay, now you know how to print the elements. The printing elements can be done in 2 ways. So one is actually given as here. You can just print the element. That means you can say for K in list 1, you can just print the K. So that is the item basically. It's printing 0 to 9. So if you print for K in range, print K and end equal space, it will be printing 0 to 9 horizontally. Right? If you print for K in list without K in list, if you print K in range, length of list 1. So if you print K, what will be printed? For K in range, length of list will be 10, right? Because there are
yes.
10 items. So it will be printed from the K will be 0 to 9 again, right?
Yes.
0 to 9 again. So what if I'm printing the list 1, then Kth item? So the K will be 0 to 9 because if it is 10, K will be 0 to 9. The Kth item, 0th item of this list, 0th item of this list is
0.
It's still 0, right? Because you have same values. So 9th item of this list is still 9, right? So therefore, if you even print like this, still you will print in 0 to 9. So here no difference because you are storing numbers from 0 to 9. But if you have stored number like this, okay, let's make a small change, and I'm going to append to this list. I'm going to append. Sorry, I'm going to remove numbers first. Remove all the numbers, right? Remove this K from the list. Now if I print the list, this will be empty because nothing is there. You can see it's empty now. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually without removing, I'm going to append the item. So what items I'm going to append? I'm going to append from 2 to 20, 2 to 21, the even numbers. I'll be appending. So if I print list 1, you can see it's 2 to 20 even numbers. Then if I run this loop, this K in range loop, you can see it's printing from 0 to 9. But if I K in range, then if I'm going to print the list 1 index K, so it will be printing from 2 to 20. Okay, now there's a difference because the indexes are different from the values stored in the list. I hope this part is clear to you, right? Before we begin, just want to clarify whether is there any doubt.
I think it's clear.
Okay, so how to access index, how to access the item. Index is basically the location, item is the value, right? Index is the location, item is the value. Okay, so shall we do small exercise? Okay, so please write down this question. Write a code to input 10 numbers into a list. Write a code to input 10 numbers into a list. Find the total of those 10 numbers, the average, minimum, and the maximum of the list. Okay, let's do this now. So don't worry, I will assist you if you have any doubts, any difficulties. But first of all, just give a try, 2-minute try first. So then in case if you fail, I will assist one by one, step by step, right? Okay, you can start now. Okay, for K in range, so 10, right? So you have to add this 10 times, right?
Oh, yeah.
K in range 10. So enter the number. Okay, then you have to append that to the list. Actually, so you can define empty list first. In the first line, you can define empty list because you don't have any list before. So you can say marks or something. Let's say marks. Marks is equal to empty list. So there are 2 ways you can do that. No, not that. And so can you remember I just said in the beginning of the lesson, either empty brackets or you can say list keyword, not curly. Okay. Then so after entering this number, what you need to do? the third line, fourth line, you need to append this number immediately to the list. That is in the fourth line. So inside the for loop. Inside the for loop, the fourth line. No, not there. So this second for loop is not necessary. So why is that? You don't need that now. Later you need it, not now. The second for loop and the print num key, that part is not needed, right?
Okay.
You can erase that line. Yes, last two lines is not required. Okay, then you can just press enter and then type. You can say marks.append the k. You can add, sorry, not k, mark.append the num. The number that is added by the user, and number should be converted to integer, right? So that is missing here. Before equal sign, you need to convert that to integer too. Okay, run this now. Just run this now, and so I think okay, now run it now. Okay, it's accepting 10 inputs, and so after that, okay, you can just erase that. You can print that marks, maybe print marks.
Oh.
No,
which line?
No, there itself. No, in the terminal itself, you can print it, because now you have added that. Print the marks, and you will be able to see there are 10 elements inside that. Okay, all 10 elements are added into the list now. So I think that is clear to you, right? So now what is next? What is next? Next is you have to access element by element. Then, so find the total. Actually, that can be done similar way, but you need to access using another loop. Why? Because this one is basically, let's say you have empty list marks or something, and that list is empty list. This can be done this way also. Empty list can be defined this way also. So your way is also correct. This way is also correct. And then you can append marks.append that num into the mark. Okay, and then run it. You run it. Let's say marks list py. Run it and enter a number. Then let's enter some numbers. So let's put some down. So I have put same value. So when you enter 10 numbers, it will be added to the list. You can print that if you want to see the list, and you can see all 10 items. The next problem is, how can we, after adding this, after appending this item, how can we get the total? So initially you can say total equals 0 because nothing is there in the total. But you can loop through the list. You can say for item in marks. So what do you need to do now? How to get the total? You can say total equal. Yes. You are going to iterate through each item, right? You are going to iterate through each item of this. Then how can you find the total?
Adding all them together.
Yeah, so that's how can we do that? Basically, it's like this. Total is like empty bucket. Nothing is there. Now we are going to iterate through the items. You have these 10 items. So these 10 items are lists. So these 10 items are in a chain. Now we are going to take one by one and add it to what? Add it to this empty bucket, right?
Yes.
So how to take one by one? We have already done that. Item in marks. We have taken item in marks, then add it to the bucket. How to add it to the bucket? That you have to write a command. How? Total equal, the current bucket is total plus the new item. Did you understand? Total equal the current, yeah, currently bucket is empty, but you are keep adding to the same bucket the new item, right?
Yes.
You cannot say total equal item. Why?
Total equal item because
then
it's not doing anything.
No, it's doing that, but what will happen first? Then total will be 23. The second time the 23 will be erased, then total will be this 23. The third time when you run, the total will be this 23. Fourth time when you run, the total will be this 56. The previous ones will be erased. That is the nature of variable. No? Variable can hold only one value. No? Right? Then when 6 comes, the 56 is erased. Now total is 6. When 7 comes, 6 will be erased. Now total is 7. Right? So if you say total equal item, that won't happen. But what you have to tell, total equal the current total plus the item. So when you tell like that, the total equal the current total plus the item. So understand these things very carefully. Think deeply and understand, right? Don't just think the surface. So what happened the first time? Total is 0. Nothing is there here. The first time when you come, total is 0. The second time, the first item comes. What is the first item? 23. Current total is 0. 0 plus 23 is
23.
23. So 23 will be there. What is the new total now?
23.
23. The next item comes. When the next item comes, what is the total? What is
46.
the current total? 23. The new item is 23 altogether. So what is the total now?
46.
46. So 46 will be stored. That is why total equal total plus item, right? The next item is 26. Again, the current total is 43 now. The new item which is arrived is also 23. So that 23 plus this 43 is 66. The new total is 66 now. The next item comes 56. When 56 comes, the new total is 66. That will be added to the 56. Understood why this part is there? Total equal total plus item.
Yes.
Without telling total equal item, if you tell total equal item, the final total will be 78. But if you tell total equal total plus item, all will be taken into the consideration. Okay, finally, what you need to do after running this loop, you can print what? Print the total.
Total.
Yeah. Then what will happen when you run this? So let's run this now. Entering the items. You can see the total will be calculated based on that. Okay.
Yes.
Right. So whatever we are doing in the class, Thenuka, so try to practice after the class also. Otherwise, what will happen after 1 week
I
of
will
time?
forget.
Right?
Forget.
Otherwise, you will forget, right? That's the thing. Okay. So now you have a few more challenges. What are they? Finding the total of
minimum.
yes. Then finding the average, minimum and the maximum. That will be big challenging again. Find the average, minimum and the maximum. But average easily you can find. So when you find the total, so what you need to do is you have to divide that by the number of items. Right? So that will give you the average. So you can say print here, actually the total is total. The average is easy. No need to calculate even. Why? Because you know the number of items. Average is total divided by length of the marks. Length of the marks means number of items. It will count, no? When you say the length, it will count the number of items. So average will be printed. Let me run this. So that is simple. So let me insert some numbers. And you can see 45 is the total, 4.5 is the average. Okay, next two challenges. Now two more challenges. Find the maximum and the minimum. Find the maximum and the minimum. I'll give you small guidance to this. Then I will give you a chance to try. My guidance. So let's say if there is a one person in a class And so let's assume this as a student, right? Can you tell me who is the student's name is X? Then who is the tallest student in the class? If there is only one student and the student's name is X, who is the tallest student in the class?
X.
Who is the shortest student in the class?
X.
X, right? That is obviously because there is only one student. So let's say this tallest and shortest are variables, right? Tallest student. So let's say there is also a variable. This is tallest. And so you can use maximum and minimum instead of tallest, shortest. You can use maximum and minimum and shortest. Right, shortest. And as you said, yes, you are correct. You said X is the tallest, X is the shortest. That is for sure. No doubt about that. Okay. When another student arrives, the next student arrives. So let's say this is the next student. The student's name is Y. Now, what do you need to do to find the shortest and the tallest?
Measure.
You have to compare, right?
Yes.
Yes. Current tallest is X. You have to compare and see whether the new one is greater than the current tallest. Is new one is greater than the current tallest?
No.
Is Y greater than X?
No.
No. Therefore, no need to update. So the tallest will be X. Then here you have to check whether the new one is less than. So is Y less than X? Y less than X?
Yes.
Yes. Therefore, you have to erase the current shortest. And now who's the shortest? Y is the shortest. Understood? When a newcomer comes, you have to compare that with the existing tallest and existing shortest and check whether the newcomer is greater than or newcomer is less than. So when the third person, let's say Z is also coming to the class. When Z comes, again what you need to do, you have to compare the Z with the current tallest and the current shortest, right? Likewise, if there are 10 items, how many times you need to do this? 10 times. So 9 times actually. The first item is anyway taken. No? If there are 10 items, you have to do the comparison 9 times. Okay, considering that, can you come up with a solution? I hope you can.
Yes.
Yeah, just give a try. Just give a try. Doesn't matter. Just write down this part. Please do this part and also give a try to create this part to find the maximum and the minimum. Let's try it now. So you can just define similar to the buckets that I said. You can define something like this. You can say the maximum number is equal to, maybe you can say the 0th. So if there is only 1, so the maximum is definitely equal to 0th index, right? So what about the minimum? The minimum is also equal to 0th index, right? Agree with this? If there is only one item, if there was only one item, that item is the maximum and that item is the minimum, right? Hello?
Yes.
Okay, then you have to loop through. You have to loop through for item in marks. Then you have to compare whether if the new item, if this item is greater than the current maximum. If it is greater than, what is the maximum, new maximum? If the new item, newcomer is greater than the current maximum, so what will be the maximum?
The newcomer.
Yes, the newcomer. Similarly, if the newcomer is less than the current minimum. So what is the new minimum? What is the new minimum?
The newcomer.
The newcomer. The newcomer is the new minimum. So this is all, right? This is all about. Finally, what after this running this loop, you have to print. Similarly, you have to print the maximum is this and the minimum is this. That's all. It's very easy. Only thing is, don't think much. Just implement. Maximum is and minimum is. So the maximum is the max item here. Minimum is the min item here, because you are looping through all the items. So you know how to loop through the items, how to go through all the items. Then you have to compare and find the maximum. So this will repeat. So let's run this now and see the results. I'm entering few numbers. You can see the 53 is the total, 5.3 is the average, the maximum is 9 and the minimum is 3. Okay. So let's try with some larger numbers, still it will work. So please implement that as and write down in your note or the book. So the answer for this question is this. So for 40 is the total, average is 44, maximum is 90, yes, and the minimum is, this happens, right? So please copy down quickly. Okay, so this is about going through the loops. This is about going through the loops and going through the items in the list, getting sublists, and also accessing items in the list, elements, etc. Now we need to compare the list with tuples and dictionaries and sets. So let's do that after writing this. So please let me know once you're done. So is there any difficult thing, or did you understand everything that I mentioned? Or if not, please tell me, I can explain again, right?
Yes, the only part I didn't add was the maximum equals item.
So
I
this part you
forgot to
need to
add
explain
that.
again, or?
No, I only didn't add the bottom part.
In your coding.
Code, yes.
Oh, that's why I said like so. Getting closer. That's okay. So only thing is the printing, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So these things you can correct. So give a try. So then it will happen. So just compare like this. So 0th item is taken, then just comparing with that item, keep going, and finally after the index. And so this is actually, this should come after the loop, right? So don't keep it inside the loop like this, then also it will give a wrong answer. Because it keep changing. Then if you are inside, if you are writing this inside loop, it keep changing the minimum and the maximum. So here, because it is a looping through, so it's keep changing the minimum and the maximum if you are doing like this. You can see it's keep changing the minimum and the maximum. So, but you don't need that intermediate values. You need the final values. So you can just make it outside the loop. Keep it outside the loop. Okay, so that is it. And so let's do the comparison, quick comparison into this, the list tuples and dictionaries now, right? We already identified lists are similar to the strings. It's having negative indexes, positive indexes. And we understood how to define a new list, empty list, and how to add a mixed list, how to create a mixed list, and how to append items, and how to remove the items, how to loop through the items, and how to print the indexes. So then, so how to get sublists. So then we understood that part. Actually, the list and the tuples. So tuples can be defined similar to the lists. So here, this is a list. So see this. This is a list of I'm running the Python shell. This is a list of names. This is not numbers, but still a list of names. So if you try to print, for k in range names, or you have to say length of names, right? Because it is just a number. K in range length of names. If I ask you to print the k, it will print the index. So 0 to 6. There are 6 items. So if you want, you can print in front of that. You can print the names k, that is the item. Then it is printing 0 is Dasun, 1 is Mahesh, 2 is Amida, 3 is Gihani, 4 is Kavindi, Meenu, and me likewise printing the items in front of that. So I'm printing k as well as the item index. So what I can do in the list, I can sort this. I can sort this easily. I can say names dot sort. Then the items will be rearranged. If I print this now, you can see Amila comes first, letter A, D, G, then you can see based on the letter values, it is sorted. So index are now rearranged. If I try to print names 0, it will be printing Amila. But earlier name 0 was Dasun, but now it is Amila. If I try to print name -1, so will be the last item, which is me. Right? You know how to get the item, and you can change the items. You can change them. That means we can say names. Let's say -1 is equal to Tenuka. Names -1 is equal to Tenuka. So then if I try to print names, you can see Tenuka comes last because the -1 is actually the last index. So it's printing Tenuka there. So now netme is not there. It's erased. Instead of netme, you can see Tenuka. So the properties of the list, I just want to say the properties. The list are editable, or you can say mutable. It's editable. You can change the items. You can change the item order. You can change the item position. So you can insert a new value instead of old item. You can erase, delete items, append items. Okay. So let's remove Meenu from the list. To do that, you can say names.remove. Then within brackets, within quotation, you can say Meenu. So Meenu will be removed from the list. Now, if I try to print, you can see Tenuka will be the 5th item as Meenu is removed. It's no more in the list. So to append a new item, you can say names.append. So let's append Meenu again. Oh. So it should be simple A append. So now if I try to print, the Meenu will be the 6th item as it will be appended to the end. So list support appending, removing, sorting, changing items. But if you define the same thing, so let's try to define the same set of names, this time not using a list, this time using a tuple. So I'm erasing the square bracket, replacing that with the normal brackets. So this is called a tuple. Similar to list, right? This is called a tuple. So you can loop through for k in names, print k and end with space. So it will be printing the names, similar to the lists. You can see all the names are printed. You can say for k in, so if you print the other way without ending this, it's printing downwards. So if you want to print the indexes, for k in range, length of names, you accessing the indexes, printing it, and it's printing the index. And if you print k and then in front of that names k, so it will print in the, so here also a square brackets, right? When accessing indexes, use square brackets. I'm not going to end. I'm going to next line. So here you can see similar, but there are differences. Now names is a tuple. It's not a list. Therefore, I cannot sort this. I cannot rearrange the items. No, tuples you can't rearrange. If I try to change names, if I try to append a new item, let's say Kasuni, trying to append new item. No, cannot append. I'm trying to remove item. Remove Minu from the tuple. Not supported. Cannot remove the item. Cannot add the items. Cannot sort the item. I'm trying to change the item. Names -1 is equal to, let's say, Gayani. No. Means tuple is read-only. Okay. So lists are mutable, but tuples are immutable. You cannot change, you cannot rearrange, you cannot add, you cannot remove. Right? So tuple is similar to list, but it is read-only. The item assignment, changing, rearrangement is not supported. Not only that, cannot add new items and remove existing items. So all these are prohibited or restricted operations in tuple. But it is similar to the list, only difference is it's read-only. You can read only, cannot do the alterations, no changes, only reading. Okay, understood?
Yes.
Okay. Any difficulty, please let me know. Right. We have up to today, so we have discussed list and tuples. Please remember this position because we are going to continue from this tomorrow. And I'll be discussing about dictionary and sets. And also note that, like, if you have, like, your sister have an issue about the time, please let me know. Then if she's available in another day, we can rearrange the class. Please let her know. So if she's interested doing that, please tell me, then I can rearrange accordingly, right? Discuss with her and your mother and let me know, right?
Yes.
Okay, then have a nice day. Bye. See you next week.
Bye.
Sorry, next day.